Hi, welcome to my page. If you're new, welcome. If you are coming back, welcome back. I'm glad to have you. My name is Cassie, and this week we are going to talk about what to expect when we are growing our relationship with God. And This has a different um, different layers to it. So the first layer I'm going to talk about is when I was a little girl. Um, I was between probably between 8 and 11. I don't remember exactly what age this happened, but I had some neighbors and they went to church, and me and my neighbor friends would go and play. I would play with her and her brothers, and even her cousins would come from Tennessee and stuff and visit, and we would just all play, and it was always a great time. So they would go to church, and they asked me, if I wanted to go to church with them. So I would go to church with them on some Sundays. And eventually they ended up asking me if I wanted to become a saved Christian. A saved again Christian, I believe it was. So I said, yes, I would. And I would accept God as my father. So we went to church one Sunday, and I ended up getting baptized in that church with them. But unfortunately, after probably a couple years, they ended up moving out of state for um, different reasons. They went for they left the state for work or whatnot, so they left, and we kind of lost touch with one another because we were so little. And I ended up not going to church because my family wasn't super religious, and we didn't read the Bible or anything like that. So I kind of lost my relationship with God at that point. Um, and not that I had a good one or anything like that, but I did have a little one because, like I said, I was going to church, and we would pray. I would pray when I was over there with them before our meals and stuff like that. So that was happening. But as time went on, sometimes I would pray when things were bad, right? When I needed some help. And I did end up praying to God when I was younger, going through some things for strength to get through that trial and tribulation at that time. Well, unfortunately, I didn't realize, when you pray and ask God for strength or even other things, it's not like he's going to sprinkle some fairy dust over you and give you strength. No, no, no. He's going to put you through some things to strengthen you up. So, over the years, I've gone through some different things. And, after a while, I was like, man, God must really not like me because, like, life kind of sucks, at this point. Going through some different trials and trying to get a better job, and it was like every door close, 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 close. I wasn't able to expand or anything like that when I needed to. And although it was hard, right, when I was younger, and I was a single mom of two kids, and you know um sometimes, I got to some situations where I was like, whoa, I didn't even know how I was going to put food on the table, or, buy diapers that week or whatnot for my kids. And, for whatever reason, it always worked out, but it was never easy, right? It was always something that, it was always a struggle to get there, but I always did have something for them. So that worked out well. And then, over the time, I did end up going, getting a better job and going that in that better job, actually, this is kind of like a funny story. So I'll tell you this. So I was in this job, and it was a local job, and it was locally owned at that time when I first got hired. And then a company from out of state came in to buy it. And they were actually out of the country and to buy it. So they came in and they bought us up, bought the company. And, luckily, like nobody really got laid off or anything like that. So we all got to keep our jobs. But they were much, they were really high on education, right? So they really wanted you to get an education. So they were not going to, oh, excuse me, hold on one second. They were not going to allow you to get a promotion if you did not have a college education. And at that time, I only had my high school education. So they did come in, and they were going to pay for some of your schooling and stuff. So they were going to give you tuition reimbursement and different things like that. So, I was like, whoo, I really wasn't a fan of that. But at the same time, it's like, well, I don't want to have this job the rest of my life. I was looking to get in and then be able to expand from there as I got more knowledge, right? So basically what ended up happening is I ended up going back to school. So I was working a full-time job. I was a mom. I was, oh, I was a mom. I think I was a wife at that time, and an employee and everything. So I was working full-time, I was working full-time during the day, and then I was going to school part-time at night, 2 nights a week. And then also, you have to factor in homework and all of that, right? So that was all very challenging too, to be able um, to juggle it all, right? To juggle your kids, to juggle you being a wife, to juggle being an employee, to juggle being a student, to juggle everything. And but it was definitely a blessing. So I went to school, I got my degree. It was a rough 2.5 years juggling it all. But let me just tell you, so I got my degree, and within a couple months, I think actually, I don't even think I graduated yet. Actually, no, I did graduate, but within a couple months of me graduating, I got a new position within my job, within my company. And, that was a better pay, and different things like that. So that was really great. So, the trials and tribulations that I went through to get my degree and stuff like that was so worth it, because I was able to get a better job and be more financially set for myself, right? For me and my kids, and at that time, my husband. So it worked out like, well, it was great. So I did that. And, now going through the divorce and things like that, if it wasn't for me, like having that nudge, right, going back to school, and even though I was so scared of going back to school, scared of the failure, scared that I couldn't handle it all, scared of everything, right? I was like so scared, but I was able to work through it all and do it. So, sorry, my dog is making some noises. So I was able to do that. So I was like super proud of myself for that. And thank goodness I did do that because, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to take care of myself financially the last couple of years after, being separated and going through a divorce with my husband if it wasn't for this job and this opportunity. Um, so when, God is nudging you to do something, do it. Even though it may seem so hard, even though it may seem like, you don't want to do it. This isn't for me or whatnot. Um, but, it's going to set you up for something better down the road. And I truly 100% believe that that is why I started school because I was like, oh my God, at that time my son was just a couple years old. He was like in early intervention. So there was just a lot going on, right? And for me to be able to handle all of that was a lot, but God basically was nudging me to do it. And I think he actually used somebody that I used to work with. Unfortunately, he has passed away, but he was like a person that was nudging me, saying like yeah, come do this with us, So I ended up going to school with him. We ended up getting our degrees together, and then he ended up actually like showing me the job posting, like, Cassie, like this is great for you, you should apply. And I applied, and yeah, that was the job that I got after 2 months of graduating with my degree. So it was all just orchestrated, and God just used people to do that for me in my life. And I'm so grateful for that because without that, these last, few years would have been a lot different than what they are today. So, just don't underestimate when you're being nudged to do something. And it may seem, like I said, it may seem really hard, but it's okay because you'll get through it. It's nothing, everything new or challenging or even worth doing is going to be hard. So just do it. And work through some of the trials, some of the bumps in the road as they come, because there was times I would come home, I would be so overwhelmed, I would cry, I would be like, oh my God, I just want to give up. I want to, not do this. And, just cry it out, be like, okay, and keep moving, right? Keep going. And that's exactly what I did. And thank God that I did not give up when things got a little tougher. So, um, so I'm glad with that. So if that is something that you're feeling like you may be getting a nudge to do or something, do it because that is God's way of getting you ready for your future. And so when, sometimes when you don't have a relationship with God, because at that time I didn't know it was God, I didn't have a clue it was God actually. I was just like, okay, I was just feeling pulled to do it. But I didn't even realize like it was a pull. I was just like, okay, I have to do this for me and my kids, to make sure that our future is going to be good no matter what. And so, I that's why I did it. And now that I'm looking back and I'm, the last couple of years, I've gotten close to God. I have a good relationship with God. Now it's like all coming together. The puzzle pieces are finally like just coming together and like, wow, he's been orchestrating this all along, but I just never knew because I didn't know his word. I didn't know what he would do and honestly with all the trials and tribulations as I was younger, like didn't even really think that he cared too much, until recently. So just don't ever underestimate the things that you're going through and say God doesn't care. Because if you've asked him for your help, or anything like that, he's he's helping you, but it's just in different ways that we don't even know that he's helping, and so it's just important to keep your faith, to keep praying, to keep your relationship with God, because if you don't have a relationship with God, you're not going to know. And, maybe he won't bring you as far as what you could truly do, right? Because at that time I didn't have a relationship with God, but he brought me enough where I could stand up and say, okay, I could do this, right? Um and that really helped set up the next. It's been about 9-10 years now, so it's been really helpful. Maybe like between 8 to 10 years now, that is all happens, right? And I still have that job and stuff like that, so that's great. And now that I do have that relationship with God, right? And I've gone through a huge healing journey that he has helped me through. And I was like, "Oh, I'm healed. I'm let's do this." Or, I thought, like, since I was healed from my traumas, like, I thought I was good, right? I got an education. I'm healed. Like, oh, but no, 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 no. There's still much more expansion to be done. So, as we are looking to expand and transform more, the more he's going to come in and prune the branches, prune those old dead things off of you so you can sprout into a beautiful new flower. And, when God asked me a couple years ago if I was sure, if I truly did want a restart, right? If I wanted to um, have a new beginning. And I said, yes, I did want a new beginning. And so he's been working with me for the last couple of years to give me a new beginning, right? So I had to go through a huge transformation with my trauma and being healed from that. And then getting my mind right. And I've taken a couple different courses with people, learning different things about investing and just different things like that. So you're just going to expand, and he is going to show you different things that you need to know, that is going to make sure that you are stable and that you're prepared for what he's going to give you, right? Because if you say that I'll give this to you, right? Because I was like thinking, like, oh my goodness, I need to win the lottery, something. But honestly, like, if I won the lottery, say I won the lottery a few years ago, I wouldn't have had a clue on what to do, and I would have probably made lots of financial mistakes, where a lot of the lottery winners do, right? They just overspend, they buy these luxury things, and then boom, all their money is gone. They give, money to their families, whatever. So God wants to prepare you for what he's going to give you and make sure that you are able to handle it in a responsible way. So if you are asking for a job, financial stuff, he's going to make sure that you are mature enough to handle the job that, he's going to help you get, that you are prepared to handle the financials of that, right? To if it's going to be you're going to make more money or whatnot, that you can handle that. Or if it's, if you're trying to have bring in a new relationship, he's going to make sure that you can be a wife to that person, or whatever you're looking to do, right? And so, but that all starts with the relationship that you have with God. Because if you can't have a relationship with him, he's not going to bless you enough to have a relationship with anybody else, because he wants you to have that relationship with him. So he needs to be the number one in your life, and I would say we always go to him. It's easiest to go to him and pray when something's going bad, right? But we also need to continue going to him when things are going good. Thank him. Be grateful for everything that he's helped you do. And also thank him for your future blessings, your future abundance, your future husband, your future wife. Just keep on thanking him. Be grateful for everything, because when we're grateful, we tend to get more. So, because we're grateful for it. So it just is easier for us to receive it. And if we're not like truly, like grateful, and we're just taking it for granted, then we're not going to get anything from that. He wants us to be grateful for what he's done. And truly, I truly am, because I wouldn't have been able to do any of this all by myself. We just don't have we don't have it. We can't do it. We don't have the superpowers as God has. So, if so I just wanted to kind of say, so if you're going through some trials and tribulations and you're like, wow, why is this happening to me? Don't ask like why this is happening to you. Ask, what do I need to learn from it? What do I need to maybe release? What changes do I need to make? Because he's trying to show you something in those trials and tribulations. He's either trying to show you that person that you're with isn't good enough for you. Maybe he's trying to show you that the job isn't a great job for you and you need to go do something different. Maybe he's trying to have you heal your traumas and expand yourself. There's lots of different things that can be happening. So just kind of go with the flow. Kind of, ask yourself like, whoa, what do I need to learn here? Because nothing is coincidence, right? Everything happens for a reason, and it's either a blessing or a lesson. So if it's not good for you, then he's trying to show you something that you need to learn. So just look at it at that. If it's not a blessing, it's a lesson. And some of the lessons are really tough. So I'm like, oh, and he'll keep on making you relearn the lesson until you get it. If you don't, it may come in different forms. So just make sure, because this last lesson I had to learn, it was a long one, but we're not going to get into all that tonight right now. But, it definitely was a long lesson. So just make sure that that's, what you do. And just know that God loves you. God wants a relationship with you, and that you just have to be patient and go through the process of him pruning your branches, cutting away the dead, so you can blossom into the beautiful flower that you are, or the beautiful, and if you're a man, you're going to still blossom into something beautiful too. So it doesn't matter. And so just, kind of take it and be good with it. And, maybe journal some of the things that, you're going through and that you're asking for. So then maybe you can kind of keep track of like, oh, okay, this is what he's trying to show me or whatnot. But, as you continue on your transformation and you grow your relationship with God, you will ultimately know how he's going to talk to you, because he talks to different people in different ways, right? Because we're not all the same. We don't all do the same things. So he needs to communicate with you maybe in a different way than he did with me. So just keep going and give some downtime for God to talk back to you, right? So keep praying, have faith, and have gratitude. Be thankful for everything that he's done, and even thankful for things that he hasn't done yet that you're asking for, you know? And just keep on going, because he's working, and it's not going to look like what our minds think that it's going to look like, So um, I hope that you got something out of this. I hope that you are, um, you know, going to keep on um, praying and having faith, and just enjoy the journey, because it is going to be, it is a journey. And at first when I heard that, to enjoy this journey, like, oh my goodness, how can you really enjoy once the really rough parts, like the healing is rough, you know but once those are done, everything else was like, oh, okay, this isn't terrible. It's kind of fun. But it's fun in a way, but it's also nerve-wracking, because you just don't know. You know, I've submitted to him, to God, and I gave it to him to take care of. So I'm just kind of following him, and I don't know if you use this prayer, or I don't know if it's truly a prayer, but I always ask God to do this when I'm praying to him, is for him to show me what my eyes need to see, have him allow my ears to hear what they need to hear, and my heart to feel what it needs to feel. And I ask that every day, and then I also thank him for his continuous guidance on my path. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you enjoy your journey, and don't give up, even when things don't look and seem the way that maybe our logical minds think that they should, because it just doesn't work that way. All right. Thanks. Have a good night. Bye.